Hi, I'm Jim Biddulph and I'm at the Truman Brewery in East London for this year's London Design Fair. The London Design Fair have chosen Jesmonite as their material of the year this year, and I'm going to go and explore how designers choose to use the material and why they choose to do that. I'm here with Ariane Prin, a designer who works with Jesmonite and a very special material as well.
Yeah, I mix Jesmonite with key dust.
Why would you put that with Jesmonite?
I wanted still to try different things with it, and I had a bucket of Jesmonite in my studio. I mixed the two together, went to do my freelance job for a week, and then when I came back, all the sample that I have done changed.
That change is all to do with the kind of colour, as you can see on the tiles and the vessels.
Exactly.
How does that come about?
Over the years, I've been developing different oxidation recipes in order to get all the different effects and different intensity of colors.
So in order to get those metals, how do you go about that process? Where do you get metal filings from?
Metal workshops, locksmiths, wherever I can get metal powders which are not used and not being recycled at all.
Now you've got a material that you can put across vast areas. So I'm here with Zuza Mengham, who makes these beautiful sculptural forms out of Jesmonite, and also another very specific material that's also influenced the entire concept of these pieces. Zuza, can you tell us a little bit more about that material and how this kind of concept's come about?
I was initially interested in lichen as an organism that's in our environment that I think is often quite overlooked. I was interested in all the history behind lichen, all its uses in the past, like fabric dyes, the first pH litmus paper. I was looking at all those properties and I decided to pick 5 different lichen species. Each of them takes colours and abstract shapes based on their colour and shapes in real life.
Why Jesmonite for this particular series?
Jesmonite is water-based, it's much kinder to the environment, it's much easier to use, it's not toxic, it almost has a ceramic feel to it which feels quite natural. There's such a range of different colours and effects you can get in it, and it's so versatile in terms of pigments. Also, it's incredibly fast to set compared to a lot of other materials. For me, making these pieces, I cast them and I had to do lots and lots and lots of colour inlays, so that really helped.
I'm with Claire Bailey on the Ornamental grey stand, and there's some really interesting shapes and forms on display within the stand. Can you sort of explain how it is that you get to these finished products?
I trained as an artist, and I very much wanted to create something that could end up in people's homes where form is as equally important as function. So everything starts initially by a very old technique where I turn plaster. I use a laser cut template, and as the plaster sets, I rotate it around a spindle in the middle. I then sand those objects, decide if I'm going to continue with them. I then make a many-part silicon mould for the internal and the external shape, and I then cast out of Jesmonite.
Why Jesmonite? Why have you specifically used that material to make these objects?
Plaster is my go-to, plaster is my love, but plaster doesn't survive. You knock it, it chips, you drop it, it breaks, it absorbs water. Jesmonite is perfect. It is porous, but you can seal it, so it's going to last a lot longer. It's a lot stronger, it sands perfectly, it takes form perfectly. My experiences of making sculptures that need to last and they need to be strong and they need to be thin a lot of the time. The more reading I did and the more research into mold making I did, I came across Jesmonite, and so I started using it from there. I used it a lot in my sculptures because you can laminate it with fiberglass and it becomes very, very strong in very, very thin sections. And from there I just took it into this range of homewares really.
I'm with Gillies, a designer who's been working with Jesmonite from the start really, and he makes these lovely solid surface materials. So can you sort of explain to us how and why you started with Jesmonite?
When I was at university, started working with the silver grey granite base, and that one was kind of like just experimenting with like different textures, sandblasting, and that was kind of like my main process. So it was kind of like then merging like kind of surfaces together, like using different types and more into like hand sanding and like sanding with machine. Got 2 different types of Jesmonite. So this is the resin and acrylic base. That one's the granite base. But I'm just trying to build a collection in a sense of like different types. I also now have 3 surfaces that are mixed together.
But the ability to actually mix the 2 different kinds of
it
material
works
together.
perfect. Yeah, like it works really well, like cutting wise, sanding wise, it's a really good material to work with. It's just nice to always be experimenting so much with different materials and different ways on like how I can push the material to the maximum really.
So having explored those 4 designers' work, I think it's fair to say that Jesmonite's a very versatile material. You can do an awful lot with it. You can use it indoors, you can use it outdoors, you can colour it, you can mix it with itself, and you can add lots of other materials. And it feels like Jesmonite's probably a material that's going to be around a lot longer, and that designers, more and more designers, are likely to really kind of pick up and start running with and using on all kinds of projects in the future. So I'm really looking forward to seeing much more of that in the future.